Welcome to the Nightly Rant. I'm Mike.
And I'm Torya.
This is the show where we talk about the awful things that have happened in our day, the awesome things that have happened in our day,
and all the things in between.
Thanks for listening, and we truly hope you enjoy.
Do you miss the glory days of talk radio, where the hosts knew their stuff and were not spreading fake stories? What would it be like if those same hosts could speak their mind and not have to answer to management for it? I have just the thing for you. Spencer Hughes Podcast Adventures is the new show from Spencer Hughes, formerly of Fox News Radio and a host of other places. For as little as $1 a month, you can have access to Spencer again. His insights will make you think, and his humor will make you laugh. This is your chance to help a man build his dream and support his family. Head over to patreon.com/Spencer Hughes today and subscribe to one of the several levels you can choose from. You will not be disappointed in the content you are going to begin receiving. Patreon.com/Spencer Hughes. Adventurous content, the way radio used to be.
So we're back after a
short hiatus,
brief little hiatus for decompressing from campaigning.
Rest and relaxation. We took a few days off. I'm much less grumpy now.
And we also had a very, 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 very busy weekend.
Yes.
So that's why we took some time off. Basically, we took Friday, Monday, and Tuesday off. So
that's not so bad.
Here we are. And you had something you wanted to talk about that was on your mind.
Well, I saw earlier that the ballot, is it called a ballot?
Yeah.
To split California into 3 states made it on the November ballot.
Okay.
And I think it's
stupid.
The dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. First off, if anybody who's ever looked at it has looked at a map, it's going to cut the line between Los Angeles County and Orange County.
Okay. You're right.
And that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Because then, people are going to go grocery shopping in another freaking state.
Well, yeah, like Tina made the point that she would leave work in one California and end up in another California when she got to work.
Right. And it's stupid. Like, what the hell's wrong with people?
But, okay, well, I know that's not the most normal approach. A lot of people have that situation where they live... Like, a lot of people, when I went back to Indiana for work, it was... what was the name of the town in Indiana?
South Bend.
South Bend, right, thank you. South Bend, Indiana is literally right there by the Michigan border.
Uh-huh.
So there are people who live in South Bend and work in Michigan and vice versa.
Well,
so it's not that rare of a situation.
It's the same way in the Crowsnest Pass. My dad worked in a different province than he lived in.
Yeah, because you live close to the border.
It just seems
so it's natural.
Really asinine somewhere as populated as this, where you can't even tell you're crossing into a different county.
Yep.
Outside of the fact that the street signs change color.
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem to have much interest from the voters, so we'll see.
But didn't it have to get a certain amount of support to get on the ballot in November?
You just needed a certain percentage of signatures, that's it.
Oh, it's the same as anything. It just needs signatures?
Yeah.
Oh. That's something I'll be watching on election night, I feel. You know how this election I picked, like, the 5 things I was paying any attention to?
Yeah.
That's one of the things I'll pay attention to in November.
I can see why. But so besides going to work in another state, what are your other issues with it?
I think it's... Okay. So people always talk about how California has the 6th largest economy in the world and all this blubbity shit. Well, why would you want to break that up? Why would you want to chop an economy that is functioning? We obviously can't attest whether it's functioning well or not, because everybody disagrees on that. But it's functioning and is the 6th largest economy in the world. And I saw something recently that said it's actually the 5th now.
Yeah.
Why would you want to chop that into pieces? And you cut sectors out of that economy. And you take an already established government and you basically take it away from all of Southern California.
I haven't really looked into the details of the measure, like how it would be implemented, right? Because on the surface, to me, it's just asinine. Like, just on the surface. I don't have to go any deeper. On the surface, it's asinine. So I'm not going any further with this. This is a dumb idea.
I don't like it.
But I think it would be interesting to read the... to read why they want to do it the way they want to do it and how they actually want to do it.
I think the same people who want to cut California into 3 pieces are the people who want California to separate from the United States.
Right.
It's dumb. Sorry, but it's a poor life decision.
Yeah, it's... What's the word I'm trying to think of? It's short-sighted.
Right, that's what I was going to say too. It honestly feels like something that people haven't thought all the way through. It'll be, if they passed it, I feel like it would be buyer's remorse, a lot like Brexit was for the UK.
Yeah.
They didn't understand what it was and what the implications were, and they immediately regretted it.
I agree with you. And I think that's part of why I'm trying to define it. Because, I mean, it could be offensive, it might not be offensive. It might be serious, it might not be serious. You don't know. You have to examine the situation to determine if it's one of those things.
Right. There was another proposed one that was going to cut California into like 17 different states.
I know. And then there was one that was going to cut it into 2. But it's not the first or even the third time this has been tried.
I think 2 would make more sense than what they are currently proposing. Because currently it's like a strip of the coast ending at Los Angeles County. And then there's Southern California, the rest of it, and Northern California.
Yeah.
Splitting the North and South makes sense to me. Like, I would be more supportive of that. Because they're very different types of people, very different areas. And there's a big expanse of open space that they're not going to cut anybody down the middle.
And people say that by doing that, you box Los Angeles in with, like, San Diego. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, San Jose and San Francisco are together. And they're very tech savvy, so there's a lot of money. And they're hoping it'll give them the influence over the rest of the state that they can't get because Los Angeles and San Diego stomp all over them.
If one half of the state is politically one way and very strongly political that way, and the other half of the state is political another way and very strongly that way, then it makes sense for them to be 2 different areas.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, the way that they sliced it doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, to us, it doesn't make sense. Somebody somewhere, that's why I say it would be interesting. Like I said, I haven't really read anything because I don't, frankly, take it very seriously. I think it's asinine on the surface, so why would I go any deeper? But as I sat here and saying that before, I thought to myself, well, the reason you'd go deeper is so you could understand what the other people are thinking. Because you know what? Just because their approach to the solution of a problem seems asinine on the surface doesn't mean that, number one, that's not still a problem, and number 2, maybe there's a better solution that isn't so asinine. But you can't know that. But you can't know that if you just dismiss it.
And you should probably dig deeper into it because you are actually going to be voting on it, and we might potentially have to live with the consequences if it would be a yes vote. So you'd want to understand what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
In both scenarios,
it's necessary to know the proposed outcome for
I'm
both.
sure there will be a lot of conversations about it.
Yes.
I haven't heard much about whatever initiatives will be on the November
that
ballot.
and the governor.
Oh.
Those are going to be the big discussions. And, I'm waiting to hear from the citizens of Cyprus about how horrible it is that Measure A passed by a landslide.
My guess is there'll be some kind of picketing at the new park opening.
You might be
Some
right.
angry people.
You might be right.
That would require the angry people to actually organize themselves, though, so there's that.
Yeah.
Given the look of how the No on Measure A campaign was, there's not a lot of organization there.
No, and then you got the loosely organized smear campaign that has gone on. And that's sort of interesting. And clearly, for one thing, someone thinks they're justified in acting the way they're acting. And they base their
Lunatics always think they're justified.
Right, and they base their justification off of them blaming you for things that you didn't do.
Let's make up a pile of facts and then tie them to someone who pissed us off a little bit one day and then barf them all over the internet repeatedly. Like, that's what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently by us ever talking about it, that's defamatory.
Sorry, but
But I suggest they look up the definition of defamation of character.
try me again. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah. I feel like at some point, the police will need to get involved.
I don't doubt it. I really don't.
Yeah. But I'm not going to go into the multitude of reasons why that would happen. But, yeah.
This situation is very well summed up by that meme that says, well, that escalated quickly.
Yep.
Let's take a minute and talk about what's going on in the back of our building right now.
Yeah, okay. So, good thing this doesn't go out live, but what time is it? It was like a little after 2 o'clock, right?
Our friend in the building said that she came home at 1:30 and it was going on. So it
Right,
happened
so
between 1 when we
It
left and
happened between
1:30
the time
when
we
she
left
saw
and when we
it.
came home.
Yeah.
Yeah. There were like a whole bunch of sheriffs all geared up in like SWAT gear,
Yeah.
jeans and vests and stuff. They were all geared up. Looked like a warrant serving team.
Right.
And it also, now that the fact that they were still there as of like an hour ago, so what's that? 6 hours? They're probably served a search warrant.
Right, and there's
Basically, they had the people sitting there waiting. I don't know if you noticed, but the woman was by the stairs, and the guy was sitting on a chair.
They had them all
right there.
And they had the
them all
other dude sitting
separated.
on the stairs down below.
Yeah, they had them all separated, and they were keeping an eye on them.
And there was the small dude and the bigger dude that lived there.
Right.
They had the bigger dude over by their car, and they were chatting with him, like, one-on-one. And then they had the canine there.
Yeah.
Like, holy hell, dudes.
Yeah, like it was weird. Like, what the heck were they looking for?
It's the longest amount of police presence there has been in our building.
And it's the most amount of police presence.
Right. The only other time I can remember there being quite a lot of police was when the people who lived in, like, down below them, when her husband slapped the kid from upstairs, and
Yeah.
there was like 7 police officers and he was in handcuffs, and it was all bad. Lots of crying and screaming.
What is it about that area, though, back there? It's like all the drama comes from over there. It doesn't matter who lives
All
there.
the
There's
drama.
just drama from over there. All
They
the time.
listed that townhouse as available for rent, and I looked at the pictures and I was like, well, it's kind of pretty. And then I was like, fuck no. But the guy who lives downstairs now is like, he seems like a reasonable dude. No drama.
Yeah. Not super friendly.
He's
But he
the
kind of keeps
taxi
to
cab
himself.
guy, right?
He kind of keeps
Yeah.
to himself. But hey, that's all right. He's not rude. He's not one of the obnoxious ones. He's just not a friendly one either.
Which is fine. He's not unfriendly. Like, if you smile at him, he smiles back.
Yeah, he's the, I call it the you have to reach out to them before they'll reach out to you type of person.
Well, and considering I'm one of those people too, I don't really blame anyone.
Are you really?
Shut up.
Could have fooled me that you're one of those people.
Ha 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 ha.
You're always telling me what to do.
Ha.
Always.
Ha ha.
You have no shyness when it comes to telling me what to do. No.
You, but I have all the shyness with people I don't know, you fascist.
Just saying. You act as though you don't have that bone in you, but you do.
Well, all I was saying is I'm like that dude, where I don't generally talk to new people unless they speak to me first. Had nothing to do with me telling you what to do, colossal fascist. Way to change the subjects you could bash me on our podcast.
I didn't change the subject. Good thing it's recorded. You and that big giant cat changed the subject.
This big giant
Beach
cat,
ball.
did you just call her a beach ball?
Uh-huh. That's what she looks like from here.
A beach ball with a big old tail?
Uh-huh.
I like to call her Chubby Wubby. That's less mean than beach ball. Since the appearance of the new laser pointer we bought at that store that was so awful to us,
Yes.
which we also should podcast about one day, she feels a little leaner.
Yeah, because she's playing more.
She's gotten some exercise.
That's good. She's all confused.
The people from that pet store want me to call them. They finally messaged me back on Yelp. Oh,
That'll be interesting.
I think you should call them.
Chicken.
I know, I can't articulate myself on the phone very well.
So many people make that claim. It can't all be true.
I don't want to leave anything out. Whatever, I'll try.
It's funny. But anyway.
You can just edit that part out.
Why is the dog woofing?
Because he's a fascist.
Yogi, stop it. Ah!
He wants to be part of the podcast.
He's barking out his orders. Damn CEO.
Shut up!
Be quiet, Yogi. It's my show. Your network, my show. Calm down.
I'll scratch his armpit, then he'll shut up.
Yes, it's a good idea. Scratch his pits. See, he's making noise. You didn't scratch his pits well enough. What's wrong with you? Get it right.
He's woofing at our neighbor coming into their house.
That's kind of funny. He hasn't done that yet. Until now. We had 2 new neighbors move in within like the last 60 days.
I know. And the ones there are not friendly.
And unfortunately, we're hearing that our next door neighbor, they're leaving.
We're going to be surrounded by people I don't know again.
All brand new folks.
I like them.
Yeah, me too. Even though we rarely see them because they both work so darn hard.
Hopefully, the new people aren't like the last people that we had,
Yeah.
where they were constantly like having loud ass parties, and then they'd constantly be smoking out on the patio so that we couldn't have the window open. And then he screamed at me that one day because I closed the window and he thought I closed it too loudly, so he called me a fucking bitch.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't appreciate any of those things. I've never had that experience from the current people. The best we get from them is their little girl running down the hallway squealing.
And you know, he was back recently and he still acted like a jerk.
Yeah, I know. We saw him coming out of the apartment down the hall, right?
Yep. What an ass. Anyway.
Unpleasant human being.
Yep. So, things are changing around here. It's always interesting.
It always makes me nervous when we get new neighbors.
Yeah. Because you never know what you're getting.
I do wish that the manager would be slightly more consistent about telling us when somebody new is joining our hallway.
Yeah.
Like, she was great about the first apartment. But I don't know if that's just because we happened to be in her office shortly before he moved in. Or they moved in.
It might be. It might be. But I hear what you're saying because, like I said, You swore that was her because you knew that they hadn't rented the place. And
Well,
the
I thought
only
she would tell us.
And the only way I knew it wasn't her is that I had already seen in the morning the sign that said the office was closed.
Right.
So from my perspective, it was like, they're closed. She's not here. So the other thing it could be, since all the work was done on that place so quickly, was someone moved in. And sure enough, they had.
And the reason I wish that they would let us know is that when you see somebody weird that you don't know in the hallway, you're like, are you a serial killer or do you live here?
Right.
And like in the rest of the building, I don't really have the time or care to remember everyone that lives here. But I know the people who live in our hallway and the people who live right below us.
Well, and I know quite a lot of the people in the rest of the building by face. I don't know their names or anything like that. But by face, I know quite a lot of them. And then occasionally there'll be a changeover. And then I have to relearn who people are. But it's not that hard.
But you at least want to know who lives. Like, I could not tell you what the people who live across the hall from us look like.
Me?
I know that they're young. And that they're a couple. And that's it.
Me either. I couldn't tell you either.
So.
But, I mean, sometimes part of the, perceived unfriendliness, and I say perceived because in this case it's not really being unfriendly, is that they're so much younger that they're hanging out with, like, a high school crowd still.
I don't think they're that much younger than I am.
But sometimes that's what the issue is.
Yeah. It might be. But
I mean, don't forget I'm older. So they see me and they're like, uh-oh.
I did the smile thing and I got 0 return.
Interesting.
And it's unlike me to do the smile thing, so
yeah, I was going to say,
how that makes me feel.
That alone is pretty interesting. I hear you. I just think that as long as people kind of do their own thing, don't make a ton of noise, and I have to say, the new people, they're quiet.
Yeah, I like them just fine. But
so, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. I mean,
I would just like to get a good look at them so I know who they are.
There's a lot of people that don't want to socialize. It is what it is.
Right.
If you really notice, the only people in this building who really socialize are people who've been here for a couple of years.
Yeah, people aren't super friendly all up front, are they?
No. It takes a while, and then people are like, oh, I've seen you around for 2 years. You do the same thing every night.
Right.
You take that dog, he goes for a walk, you come back, you go back home.
Well, like the lady that we were just talking to as we were leaving.
Yeah, exactly. You just get to know each other that way.
She knows us.
Yeah. And
she didn't at first.
Yeah, you just get to know people that way. And it's mainly because of your length of stay here, Right. The longer you stay here, the more of those people that kind of stick together.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's logical, I think.
I think the lady with the dog might have moved out.
The lady with the dog all the way downstairs?
The one whose dog is always at the barbecue pit. Lady and dog. Apollo.
No, because they park right next to me.
I know, I didn't say I thought her husband moved out. I said I thought she moved out. Oh, I haven't seen her at all.
Naive me, not even thinking about that.
Because
that would be awful.
We both know she doesn't drive that car.
Yeah.
At all.
Right.
But I haven't seen her. I haven't seen the kids. I haven't heard her screaming ass dog.
That would be pretty awful, though.
Yeah.
But it would also kind of make sense because when you put together the fact that person used to go outside to the barbecue pit, it reminds me of me when I would go to Starbucks and read.
Right. Maybe, you know what? I could be being a lunatic. They could be like on vacation somewhere or something.
Sure, anything's possible.
But I haven't seen her in like a month.
Yeah. She's counting with her fingers.
No, I'm watching the tendons in my fingers move.
That's really helpful on a podcast where no one can see what you're doing.
I don't want anybody else to see what I'm doing. The tendons are for my amusement, not theirs.
Stop being a geriatric rodent. Anyway, people.
We've rambled on long enough.
We have gone on and on and on about the same topic for long enough.
We've gone on and on and on about like 17 different topics
That's
tonight.
good. Makes it interesting.
Well,
With that,
good night, everyone.
hasta la bye-bye.
Hi everyone, this is Mike, and I truly hope you enjoyed this show. You're able to subscribe to this show on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher so as to never miss an episode. If by chance you did miss an episode here or there, you can catch up on all shows, past and present, by heading over to yogispodcastnetwork.com/TNR show. Thanks for listening.